Testing. Okay. All right, welcome back. Once again, another day. And today I need to code the ability to do special moves. Now, I'm not really sure how I want to set this up to begin with. First off, special moves are going to be using any of the button inputs, and each of them will have a specific special move sequence. Now, I can understandably see unique sequence for every attack that uses a different sequence, which would require a different line of code for it. So, if choose action for just regular attack, then we'll use a single button, and the only real thing is like this as the difference. What I could do is a call that takes in the sequence and a button combination that isn't calling check attacks multiple times, but a function that calls check attacks. And then one for is facing right and the other thing. However, I'm not sure how we would do that yet. Because this is already a quick function. It's just two things. Sequence reader is pretty short. So for the special moves, I was just doing an annual button and sequence for each move. How could I break it up into multiple things? So the difference between a special move and a regular move is that the special move has a sequence on top of the button press and direction condition. Additionally, the sequence is also direction dependent, which is kind of where this back attack is kind of helpful. Because it's essentially the same thing as the special moves. Now, depending on whether or not I decide to use special moves sequences for every single button combination and sequence, this is a different problem that I'd like to do differently. So right now it's based off of button for normal attacks. The special moves would have to go above. Sure. So, dash. Go over here. Yeah. Okay. Let me count the quarter circles that there are. So, down, forward, forward, down, down, back, back, down. That's 4. Back, up, back. That's another 2. And then up, forward, forward, up. That's 8. Okay. So for just quarter circles, there's 8 different combinations. Same with half circles, as I remember that from a Guilty Gear character sheet. So 8 versions for special moves of some kinds. No, that's just the sequences. There's 8 sequences, 2 directions. I think only air and ground state matter. And even if then, so for air and ground state, I could change it to make the game a little easier to make from having aerial specials exclusive to air. Sorry, no. I could have it similar to Super Smash Bros. Where grounded special moves are also available in the air. You just fall at the same time. Um, in many and I think every Smash Bros. Character, there's no difference between the aerial and grounded versions of a move, except for like ones that actually require the ground. So I can make it that ground state doesn't matter. Um, and then I could have like down, down to be the grounded state special move that's exclusively for that. But I'm not sure. And the problem is, how does it get done? And how do I do it in a way that's not sequence dependent? I could use a match statement for the sequence, or is it sequence, or would I want to use a sequence dictionary? 8 sequences, 4 directions, 4 to 8 buttons. Here I'm going to say this gets really annoying because this is the part that gets large. Alright. I could do forward specials and backward specials, but that splits only by 2, and not by button type, which really split them up. I think buttons might actually be a good idea for the first thing. So special moves based on buttons. Cool. That gets rid of this one. And also reuses this button. But then there's like 8 sequences per singular sequence type. So I might want a sequence for that. Hashtag. Okay. Similar to how we did it 2 days ago, I made a bunch of dictionaries way at the top that take in the category of attack for normal attacks, heavy attacks, etc. based on the button. What I can do is do a special move that is separated by sequence and button in dictionary, as in a nested dictionary, that means I had 2 layers. And then I would have underneath that another layer for buttons. Or I could take this enumeration that is all of the special moves that does not have a damn name. Okay. It would be easier to do it by button first. Probably. Would I have a special move that overrides? But it makes sense to have a special move that overrides it in the air over the ground. Um, I think it does. There's Akuma's Air Fireball that overrides the special move input for Fireball on the ground, but in the air. So that's an option. Hmm. However, I could be using a button that's I could use a property that's different on airborne. I'm not sure. So let's take a look at this previous version. Match a sequence with the quarter circle right. We've got all the buttons. We got a bunch of the buttons, and we got forwards and backwards, and we got left and right checks, which is just for this a lot. Okay. Let's start typing some things now. Starting with what? Let's make a dictionary. Unit tags. So DP right, DP left. Let's change that to down DP right. Down DP left. Up DP right. Up DP left. Put a comma and put equals. So up DP left and up DP right. Is that the correct thing to do or no? DP right implies right, down, down right. Okay. DP left is left, down, down, left. These are DP downs. So it would be, should be called right DP down? Because you start right and you end down right. Yeah, maybe that's better. Right DP down. Left DP down. Right DP up. Left DP up. Alright, so left, up, up left. That is wrong, because that is right. So right, up, right. And this one is left, up, left. Okay. Did I put too many commas? No, I didn't put enough commas. Okay. Let's do the quarter circles. That should be enough. So hop quarter circle right, starting with 2, 9, 8, 8, 9. Up quarter circle right. Okay. And then left. Quarter circle down. Right quarter circle down. Left quarter circle up. And right quarter circle up as well. Left quarter circle up. Right quarter circle up. Okay. I believe these should all be unique for the most part. Maybe comments, but up here it should be unique for all of these. Okay. Those are fine. Okay. So now we have a bunch of sequences we can start reading. If we do it based on starting button, it's 2. If we do it based on type of motion, it's 8. I need to make a dictionary for this. So, shift at, start on ready, var, quarter circle, underscore dictionary. And I can't spell words for the life of me. God damn it. Good thing I don't have to sometimes. Quarter circle dictionary. What does the sequence return? In a key value pair, I provide the sequence. What do I get out? Either a special move or the ability to continue into the next layer of the dictionary. Break it. What? We don't have a thing for it, so I don't really know. This is going to be made for me here and not anywhere below. It should only contain what I want. And all of these are going to need something to return. Need to stop pressing the wrong button. And I'll comment it out so I don't get the error lines right now, because I don't know what to put there yet. I might have to have a dictionary inside of a dictionary inside of a dictionary to decide everything, especially since both the special moves are somewhat side dependent. Question mark? Okay, so if I do, that would be a lot of see. That'd be a lot of them. If I do like quarter circle moves, just light kick and quarter circle moves. 8 quarter circles for one button. That's a lot. Instead, I can have more than one check using dictionaries instead. So I can have the sequence and the button be two different things that are done via dictionary. I might need to make a new type of check for attacks function. Would I? Because I'm only taking a sequence and a special move. Then I'm returning true or not. Okay, but if I'm using the special move sequence, what do I return? If I'm using the button, I return the dictionary that's specific to that sequence, if there is a sequence, if there is one like that. So buttons contain moves, contain do they contain the special moves and then every sequence is done independently, or does the sequence contain the moves and the button is done afterwards? So if I go sequence, return the special moves that use this sequence, and I use no, I return dictionary that with for special moves that use the sequence. So let me try to type this out in a way that makes enough sense for it. So here I would get a sequence, and then in there it would return a dictionary with button and attack. Maybe attack or two attacks. Might be two attacks for facing right, facing left. Or I could have also right, right slash left, and contain all of these in a third dictionary. And then we get what else left? is player on floor or not is just a boolean. But also this can be just a boolean as well. So sequence and buttons are probably the two bigger ones. So for every sequence, I would put in a dictionary that contains every single button for that sequence. Why does this still seem like a big thing? Well, it's big one time up top, and then it's repeated here at the bottom. So let's start with the check for if is underscore on floor host player dot is underscore on floor. Okay. Okay. Then I feel like that would make the most sense, especially if the special moves are the things in the air and the ground. So if player dot is underscore facing right, colon, all right, else, colon, to pass. It really gets annoyingly big, at least I think. But after doing it once for the quarter circles sequences, I don't need to do it again for the dictionary sequences, hopefully, as much. Probably also want to do a sequence check. So if um, I don't have a sequence value yet. Ooh, how do I read the sequence uniquely? That's a different problem. Because I don't, I have something that checks for a sequence. Wait, no, that's just the sequence reader, isn't it? The history, the check. That's the check, but I have to still check this sequence. Hmm. This is going to be a lot harder, I think. I would do a for loop probably. For is for sequence in circle sequence. I need to find a little bit. I commented for sequence in quarter circle dictionary. Okay. For sequence in this. Um, this, and then since it's a dictionary, I would call sequence sorry, if sequence if sequence reader, let me fix the spelling of this, which takes in the sequence, this would take in input history, comma, oh, input history, comma, check, which would be the sequence. The third thing would be the button, which is with the check for attacks. But the sequence reader returns the number. Not whether it's true or not. But the check for attacks returns the boolean that I will at length. So check for attacks, and then put in the last number. Sequence mod 10. Any number greater than the last number is just cut off, and we don't care about the last number. Okay, colon. If it checked the sequence for the dictionary, make the sequence real. So we have down quarter circle forward light kick and down quarter circle forward light punch. Which would need a button. So I would need another onReady variable. That's down quarter circle light kick dictionary. Total comment. Can I put null here? Yeah, okay. Wait, can't a dictionary contain an array? A comma B. Sorry, 1 comma 4, 5. It can. Okay, that changes things. So if I can contain an array, I can put in the button and the sequence together, making it essentially the same as what I had here. So it would be direction 1, direction 2, quarter circle dictionary, and light cake or light punch. I would probably be direction independent, put those inside. So change this to underscore light kick. Get rid of this. Since it takes an array, it can take an array. Should I be taking a resource? Would that be easier to work with? Um, so this is down quarter circle light kick. So down right. So that's down forward and down left. So like, can I take a key as the? Can the key also be an array? Oh no, 5. Also yes. This is good. This is good. Let me put in for the coding notes that I can use an array inside of a dictionary. Alright, so right now I have quarter circle light kick dictionary. We've got to also consider the forward and backwards one. And if I put all the less, because that's really going to be the main care. That's right, this is the left, this is also left. So, down, left, right, up. Down, right, up. I'm missing one here. Down, quarter circle. Right. Okay. which is this one up here. Okay. Down quarter circle right. Put the right next. Then the up, then the right. Up. Okay. So this is the quarter circle light kick dictionary. Should I do the quarter circle forward light kick dictionary? Forward? I have it set to is facing right, which is maybe not the correct wording. Okay, so I would have the sequence and the attack button, and then above this I would have an if statement telling me to use the right side or the left side. Okay. And then I think for the setup of the second dictionary, it would just use the first dictionary, but it would take in this is this thing, but the same first three letters. And then the last letter would be the opposite. Okay, so sequence, back, and light kick are defined already because it's for the dictionary that uses back and light kick. Any other statuses airborne, I'll leave them the same. Regardless of where you are, you can use the same move on the ground or not. So my dive kicks might have to turn into slides at the same time. But we'll see for those. Okay. And then this would be repeat same first three letters. Left quarter circle down. No, it would flip the R's and the. Okay, I got it. I think. Okay. First off, copy this. Second off, Alt here 3 times. Control Shift, Control V. Okay, then Alt all of these. Control Shift, copy. Alt for these. No, put them, and then swap the right and left part. So the lefts are first, then the rights are first, then the lefts. And since these would be the opposite of them, just rinse it out easily, hopefully. Okay, now then, having the button and the direction is sort of two things. The sequence is the key. That's three things. All right. What else? Facing right. How am I doing the button? Button just gets the normals, and then get attack button is called. Where is this? Get attack button. Cool. It's gonna need a dictionary anyways, so I probably will make sense of that. Okay. Let's not do all of this right now. But similar to this, first off, facing right check, and then check for the first layer dictionary, which is going to be buttons, I think. The next layer, we've got button, we've got direction, would be sequence. Specific sequence. Okay. The check for buttons, since those are not gonna affect whether or not the sequence is right or left or up or down. That's an independent thing. Okay. Then check, and I'm going to check in general sequence. So, high kick, heavy punch, etc. Here it would be quarter circle, DP, half circle, etc. Also quarter circle, quarter circle. And then specific sequence would be down quarter circle forward. Or down quarter circle forward, just down quarter circle right. Should the right and left checks be first, or should they be last? Because that splits the right and left checks very far apart versus the button checks, which are very close to each other. Well, first off, it's mostly dependent on if a button is pressed, so I might want to put this above the facing right check, and then also I'm saying general sequence, why can't I just do... So if it's general sequence, it means just quarter circles in general. Any move that has a singular quarter circle, that's a separation into two different things. So, two dictionaries for it. Yeah, the upper dictionary and the lower dictionary. I think this is okay. We already do the facing right chat, so we know what the last part is. But the general sequence wouldn't matter if it's facing right or facing left. But my next question is, how do I check a general sequence? If it's a quarter circle or if it's a hinge. There's a difference of 3 and a sum of 2 between some numbers. I don't know how I would how would I differentiate general sequence? General sequence check doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. A decision tree is my problem here. It's a pretty big decision tree as well. I might need to draw it out a bit more. And it's like massive. How do you check a general sequence on a number pad? You can use a sequence reader, but how do you check that for multiple different variations of the sequence? Sums wouldn't work. Would the binaries work? No. DP would just get it again. Okay. When I say general sequence check, what does that really mean? should be just a large for loop. Check for attacks takes an input sequence and attack button. We want sequence reader, which takes in the history and the sequence. Match statement using sequence reader. It takes in a sequence and it would check for this sequence. Okay. I think I have an example for this, actually. For attack in attacks. Yes, this is what I have. Okay. So for attack and attacks, the attack variable has the 4 input buttons. Using a for loop, I iterate through the attack buttons and then check in the match statement each specific button. If that button is pressed, I go into that match statement. If it's not pressed, I leave the match statement and do something else. Which is probably where I should use this format for general sequences. Would it make sense as general sequences? It's definitely a hassle. Okay, so we use a button that reduces it a bit. Then we read every single possible sequence that we could have for a special move. Every single one? Well, at that point, I might as well just call the function to say this is the attack. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I am not sure. But that's through every single special move, which is a lot. I'm just doing every special move individually at this point. Because I don't know how to read a general sequence. Let me ask AI for this one because it's like, what possible way can I relate the numbers on the number pad to each other using math of some kind to get a relationship that defines quarter circles? It's such a difficult problem. Because 2, 3, 6, they are all, uh, they've got a few properties. 1, 2, and 4 for sure. I have no idea how to deal with that. 4, 7, and 8, how am I supposed to deal with that? But I can see either a decrease or increase in 1, and then a jump of 3, but in backwards it's a increase or decrease of 3 and a jump of 1. So if I wanted to go generally, I would have to see a difference of 3 and a difference of 1 between the first two numbers and the last two numbers. That would give me also the direction it's facing. That is such a specific thing. That's a check that could happen. Do I implement that? Or that only works for quarter circles? DPs have a jump from 4 if they're going down, 2 if it's going up, 2 down, 4 up, and that's facing left. Oh no, that doesn't work. Okay. Hmm. Trying to write a function in Godot that takes a general sequence, comma, button, comma, and if the player is facing right. This is a difficult problem that I don't know how to do. I can do the quarter circles by itself because I can relate them using the difference between the first and second number and the last. And then DPs would be a rearrangement of that in a way. Um, but then there's not a ton of other motions that are commonly used. Um, General sequence button, and if the player is right. For example, for an attack and down quarter circle forward right kick, I would take the sequence down quarter circle right or down quarter circle left, which those are decided by the facing right, and the button like it. Directional sequence. Takes the base directional sequence and converts it into a base phase. In one direction, the neutral sequence um, button input true if player is facing right, or facing left. Turns complete directional sequence with button. So directional sequence equals to the base sequence, and then if not facing right, this stuff. So this is replace X F with temporary. Replace something with a letter. Interesting. This function replace is something. Down forward is to go forward. Up, forward, up, back, down, back. Down forward is to go forward like his. Sequence is down forward is to go forward like kick. Same attack facing left is down forward is to go back like kick. Yep. Check if the input buffer contains the required sequence. Hold sequence. Okay. Uniform extreme. Use all 16 variations of border circle. Nope, up borders, border circle, forward, and such. But this doesn't really help, though. It's doing more than I like as well. So down, so quarter circle forward, quarter circle back, up and down, up quarter circle forward, down, up quarter circle. Not the same, but yeah. Still no. Hmm. Yeah, this code makes no sense to me. Alright. And it also comes up with very large codes that have every placement of all the sequences. Okay. If I give it the full list of quarter circles that I have, okay, so I'm using members, and how can I use all these without check, checking each one individually, but by checking for a quarter circle motion only. Okay, so base sequence and converses based on the placing direction. Path sequence. Instead of checking each motion, do this and then execute this function, which has a call of another function, call of another function, call of another function. Results, check for any quarter circle motion. Where's this function? Checking for buffer for quarter circle. Get all quarter circle sequences they're facing. Check for any quarter circle. Detect quarter circle motion. Okay, how do you detect the motion type? or motion in quarter cycle pattern types if it equals a sequence. Okay. But I'm using an input history that doesn't tell me the sequence. My finger's being annoying with this piece of skin again. And, okay, maybe this is the interesting portion. So I'm going to do this. I would check for any of the quarter circle sequences first, using a for loop. And then at that point, just like check what the button is and check if you're facing right or not. Oh my god. So let me copy this specific line. So something like this. Toggle comment. Okay. So for type in quarter circle patterns, I would have the check for the right left, comma, as well as the button, probably. These two checks would be done before, then I would take the quarter circle forward, light tick, quarter circle forward, quarter circle back, light tick. Dictionaries, those would be done. It would be checked here when it's not sequence but sequence reader. So I would use sequence reader, quarter circle, forward, light tick, dictionary. And then motion type would be whatever's in the dictionary. So since it's quarter circles in this case, it would be quarter circles. Um, so if I want to be like all special moves, it would be all special motions. All special motions. Comment this out. Then probably for, not with a caps lock tab, for specific motion in motion type. This would contain all the quarter circles, etc. This would contain all special motions, supers, specials, aerial specials, etc. This here would contain um, the special move specifics, the quarter circles. I would probably do the facing right check first and the button check before that. Then I would do this is the double nested loop for checking all motions with that button combination. Um, so right, left, and button. Missions underscore for right, left, and button. With checks for right, left, and button. So that would be essentially facing right and light kick or something. Then for this, I would be every special move motion that has facing right and light kick as the two primary buttons pressed, which would get me the current dictionary that I'm working with, or quarter circles if a quarter circle motion is done. So we check every motion type. Then we check for a specific motion and motion type. So wait, for button, okay, motion type, all special motions for left button. So that's forward, right. The motion has not been defined yet. Okay, for specific motion, so this would give me the quarter circle. And then for specific motion equals sequence reader, input history, comma, sequence reader, specific motion, I think. And then either this or call attack. Because at that point, I've gotten the very last thing this would be. Down quarter circle, forward, which is down quarter circle, forward, light kick. And that's it. All right. Okay. I have the framework set up mentally. Experimentally, we have no tests, so we will need to do that in 2 days. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.